Alright everyone, it's time for the Occult video number 334. I put my trust in Stolas. Now this is kind of a mocking video actually, because there are people out there that'll say like, for example, like Styx, Hex, and Hammer, you're going to hell, you're wrong. And also a lot of people that have religious or quasi-religious views that nonetheless interpret me as being inordinately superstitious. And I always find that funny because a lot of these people, hence the title, well, they live their life in a supposedly laissez-faire manner. They believe in Jesus or, some God or something like that. And they just say, well, I put my trust in God. So, if things are fucked up, it's all good. That's all right. In the end, I go to heaven or whatever, so I'm not too worried. Well, I do that more literally. What I believe is I do believe in spiritual forces. I believe that specifically in spiritual forces that I'm in league to. And I do certain work. I have certain projects in mind that I believe are spiritually informed. And my belief is almost sort of Protestant. There was an old meme I remember. And it was the religions and shit meme. And it was like, Rastafarians, let's smoke this shit. Catholics, if shit happens, it's my fault. Atheists, no shit, and stuff like that. And one of them, for the Protestant, it was, shit won't happen if I work harder. That's sort of become my methodology, and I believe religions and spiritual systems evolve in accordance with the same basic survival framework as genetics or language or civil or technology in general. Culture evolves over time. If that's the case, then I suppose that anything related to the Protestant work ethic or something roughly akin to it would be a good idea. Oddly enough, you could arguably say the same about Satanism, minus the fact that it gets misinterpreted by half of its own adherents and they take it too seriously and then they screw themselves up mentally perhaps. But of course, if they're just trying to free their own mentality, well, that'd make you more inventive at least. I've often said that for some people, if you've been emotionally abused by fundamentalism, clearing yourself out through a more drastic purge than just baseline atheism might be necessary for a while. Just make sure to realize that it's psychobabble, technically speaking. Anyway, I figured that I do what I'm led to do overall. This is my spiritual goal. Because I don't have an end goal in mind. The idea of finding a religion. I've found my faith, something like that. I think that notion is silly. I think it's more about the trip. When you're reading a good book, a good novel, it's not good for the ending, it's good for the story that leads up to the ending. Once it ends, you're like let down. That's what I would feel in spirituality if I ever found the way. You have to walk on this one specific path no matter what happens to be on it. Well, if I'm walking on a path and I see a bunch of forks in front of me and I see one path has like spike traps and big spiders and shit like that, and one of them looks nice and sunny and there's flowers and shit, I'd probably choose the latter. But if I should come to a bunch of spike pits and big spiders somewhere down the line, who's to say I can't choose a different path or even go off all paths? I have the agency to move in any direction. I can even go backwards if I want to. I feel like people set themselves up often for spiritual failure by choosing a path. Cognitive dissonance kicks in, stubbornness kicks in, which is usually not considered virtuous in most spiritual systems, by the way, and they refuse to even talk about, in some cases, other potential ways they could go. They think it's a sin. They think that if they have any form of doubt that they're going to hell or, to be purgatory or something. I think that that's silly as well. And I'm sitting here telling you that I believe quite literally in certain demonic forces and that they've interacted with me explicitly. Well, again, the proof is in the pudding. I don't need to see something invisible up in the sky and talk to it on a conscious basis in order to participate in my spirituality. The proof is in the pudding. I do the work I feel inspired to do and reap various rewards from it. And it gives me a sense of comfort. Another thing is religion, in the more organized sense, typically the evolutionary goal of it is to give people comfort, because then people will want to be part of it and they'll give you money usually. Well, if you get your comfort and you don't need the priest, you don't need the imam or the rabbi or something like that, and they're not taking a cut of your money, no government's taxing a cut of your money, you're not, helping to build some fucking temple or something, I would say that's more encouraging. I would say, and again, and I made a video specifically on this topic before, that particularly self-led style of spirituality not only is not for everyone, but isn't for most people. Most people require a pre-packaged spirituality if they seek one at all, and if they don't seek one, they will fall under one of two basic groups. Agnosticism, as in little care for the whole thing, they live their life without any particular beliefs, or hardline atheism. The number of people that can successfully participate, I would think, in the actual occult is probably 2 or 3% of the population of the world. You need to be literate. You need to be doing a lot of studying. You need to have a more intellectual mind. You can't just say, well, this one book suffices for me forever. I would say it helps to have like ADHD, I guess, when you think about it, to like spaz out and jump from one thing to another, because you're not going to feel as comfortable on that singular path. I feel like even if we look at people within the realm of the occult, written books and taught and then done lectures or whatever throughout time, the more interesting ones are the eclectic ones that have branched out and opened their minds into various realms. The psychonauts overlap with this. The more boring ones are like, well, here's my 5th attempt at writing a book on alchemy. Okay, well, alchemy is interesting. It's not the only thing out there that can be studied now, is it? When I say Stolas, I refer both to the literal demonic entity, the one known from the Ars Goetia, or Hell of a Boss, not entirely canonical, but also an idea. Call it an energy, a cosmic force, a general idea, whatever you'd like to term it. That particular demon is the one that I choose to ascribe to the concept of this wandering around, searching, not really intending to find, being self-led. It's a Luciferian sort of thing, I guess you can call it, or a Promethean thing, in the fact that it's a liberated spiritual sort of system. A non-system, if you will. Essentially, it's just pure individuality because I do whatever I want. I find that more fulfilling than going and kneeling before some invisible dude in a church and getting ranted at by a dude who probably diddles kids. That's about all. Peace out.